Now create Excel sheet with attribute data, create file system, create info area, create info object. One second. This one. Create an object and creating some characteristics. 3.2. Create info object. Here, what we need to do? We need to maintain attribute table. Then 4 points. So this is the only difference. Earlier we maintained text tables according to our requirement. Today we are maintaining attribute table. Based on our requirement. Then create input source. Give me 1 second. Create application component first. Then 4.1. Create input source. This is flexible. 4.2. Define info source to data source. 4.3. Maintain communication structure with info object. 4.4. Maintain transfer rule and activate. Insert characteristic as data target. Create update. Ensure data flow diagram. Create IP and schedule data log. Monitor and see. So we are going to perform all this. Now let's see cover this data. We are making attribute table. Terminal the name of the attribute table. But info object name then attribute table and this is going to act as final destination and plan ELP continuous. ELP means document, intelligence, DIV. E means you are creating your own right. So person. C means represent attribute, table, and this is your info object execution. So this is your attribute table generated by the system based on the system. This is your data. Communication structure always contains info object. Data mining and digging into the data. Reporting your and I am entering two attributes. And you can have both number of things. Each data field from the source system, you should have info object in the data. Move the data system, you should have then info object. Two info objects are going to act as attributes for one name info object. So, how many data fields we have? We have data fields like 3 data fields, correct? 3 data fields are like employee, ID, name, and age. What we are saying is saying these two are reference information for this basic thing. whenever you transfer employee ID information into the Bw file, it creates a basic characteristic info object that is nothing but employee ID. And for this basic characteristic info object, we will create two attribute characteristic info object. When we say this attribute characteristic info object in this employee ID, whenever you do or whenever you model something like this, then you are going to achieve this kind of statement. So, you are going to end up with employee ID and name and age. This is going to be the final destination. You have seen something like this, then you have table and seen something like this. Then you have entire text. Whenever you transfer certain data, they have no. So employee data flow, something like this, and finally text here. Name of the employee flow, finally text here. Age of the employee flow, and finally text here. So for basic info system, we create basic characteristic info object. For reference information, we are going to create attribute characteristic info object, and we are going to create these attributes in basic characteristics. Definitely, we have attributes the basic characteristics, and we will model something like this. Whenever you model something like this, then you are going to create this kind of table. Now, let me complete entire data flow diagram. This is CSV. And I'm going to use the transfer method for CSV. And one of the important ECMP components, and I am going to create employee enterprise email component, and I am going to create, and whenever you create all these things, and whenever you are creating the system is generated the data. ECMP component, So this is my expense, and when you have expense in class, and found in particular, and this is a cost of that. The second point is serious mark. 5. The third point is at the folder, under that, one more folder, under that, info object. The info object creation and maintaining text table is important. Then create another folder, application component. Then use not import. Assign info to data set. Maintaining communication structure with info object. Then maintaining activity transfer point. Then insert characteristic data target. Then create update room. Then show data flow diagram. Then create ID and security data flow. Then monitor and key content in info objects are in this table.
Communication structure is part of your data flow. See, triangle is info object. Okay, there it is going to act as a very big container. Okay, here it is going to act as a central field. Okay, and here it's a structure, right? The field allows you to transfer the data. Okay, there it is going to store physically, and the info object content. See, that's the reason every time I do, or I would like to say, info object is equal to data field and more than data field. More than data field in the sense, sometimes you can make use of info object to transfer data, one field data, okay, in database file. Sometimes you can make use this info object. Info object contains lot of tables. Okay, it acts as a container. Okay, whenever you create info object, it creates lot of tables, and within the table, your info object is going to, whatever info object you created, that is going to act as a primary key. Say like, I created an info object called EMP container. Okay, if I create this info object, then it is going to create lot of tables within this info object, and for each table, class D and E, DEMP container, which is going to act as a key data. So in BW side, whenever you create info object, system will generate a data field for you. Okay? System will generate a data field. So you need to understand one way. Info object is equal to data field and it's more than a data field. So we have three data fields in source system. To transfer the data into the BW side and to store the data in BW side, we are creating three info objects. Okay, there you can consider that one as a info object equal to data field. And entire information they are storing in info object itself. There you can consider it as a data target or data container. Okay. So going forward you will see all these things. I am going to give you a lot of information at info object level in coming up examples. Every day I discuss about each table. I will share a lot of information. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask.
And in the info object will have
communication structure info object is. Info object is having only one data field. One info object, one field. See, I would like to define something like this. Yes. Yes, again it will have attributes and text also. I'll discuss about all those things later on. First of all, yes, you may have some confusion. You need to consider something like this. See, database house C again contains the database. Again, database house contains tables only. Tables contains data fields only. So finally what we are doing, from Excel sheet, we are transferring the data into the data field of a tables only. Okay, internally speaking. But these tables will be generated because of your action. You are creating info object. Internally system will generate without knowing you. Okay, it will write Oracle statement. Whenever you click on create button, internally it will write Oracle statement on create table, and it will create data fields internally. Okay, and data fields in the sense for each info object it will generate one data field internally. Going forward, you are going to see all the transformation. Okay. Now, we need to perform this example. To perform this example, see, today I am performing this example in 3.x system. Tomorrow I am going to perform this example in 7.x system. See, 7.x system can be used as 3.x X system. Okay, your new version can be used as old version also. So this particular example I am performing in 3.x system only. So let me log into 3.x system. Before logging to 3.x system, I am creating one Excel sheet and I am keeping attribute information in that Excel sheet. EMP ID, name, age, employee, zero one, either because somewhere display somewhere 21, 23, 34, 26. Save it. I am saving this one as employee ATTR and ESD, and we have 1030 batch. I am saving. In the 1030 batch, I think we have sample batch. I am saving here employee ATTR information. The first point is completed. And second point, log into 3.x system. This is the 3.x. SAP user and India. First step in BW system. Second step is step by step. What we need to do? We need to create file system, and we have already created a file system. I am going to make use of that file system. This is your file system. Right click this one and click on check. Source system connection is okay. So second point is completed. And go to third point, perform third point. To perform third point, again run administrator workbench. Again run administrator workbench. It's a very new way. This is your first website. This is your question. Go through whatever I am teaching. Okay, I am in meeting. Later on I am discussing. Okay. So third step is creation of info area. If you want to create info area, see, you can create info area in two places. One is at info object level and other place is at info provider level. If you create at info provider level also, it will reflect in info object level. If you create here, it will reflect in the info provider level also. Now I am creating at info object level. Why we have two options? Why we have two options like creation of info area in two places? The reason is this is a folder. This folder can hold info object as well as info provider. That's the reason we can create in both places. So info area is a folder. It can hold info provider as well as info object. Too many info. No need to get confusion. Info area is a folder. Info provider is a information provider for queries, and info object most of the time it is going to hold data fields information, and it can contain number of data fields information, okay, in form of table. Now if I want to create info area, then right click the root node and create info area. Info area for 1030 batch 1. Technical name, description, and click on continue. Now you can see info area here. Correct? Newly created info area. 3.1 create info object catalog. IOC batch 1 catalog. Technical name and give description. Click on Create and activate it, then come back. Main folder, subfolder, under that I am creating info object. Here I am creating info object GEMP21. GEMP21. This is employee ID info object to hold employee number EMP01, EMP02, EMP03, all of them. Okay. Now data type should be characteristic string only and length 5 is enough. Okay. Give 5 as length. Then if you want to have text table, then keep text table. Otherwise you can remove also. Now if I activate info object doesn't have text table within it. Now I would like to have attribute table. For that you need to go into the attribute tab. Okay. For this characteristic ID, how many attributes we have? For employee ID, how many attributes we have in so? 2. Now I am creating those 2. One is name and second one is age. So I am creating name 21 and this is name of employee. Name, characteristic information and length 10 and click on continue. And second attribute for employee age 21, click on continue. This is age of employee and data type Nancy and 2 is enough according to our data. Then you maintain attributes, then activate it. Now internally you created how many info objects? How many info objects you created? You created one info object and within this info object you created other 2 info objects. This is basic characteristic info object. These 2 are characteristic info objects only, but characteristic attribute info object. Okay. Now activate dependent info object. Now how many info objects I am activating? I am activating this one. Along with this I am activating these 2 dependent info objects. Okay. So if I select activate dependent info object, then along with this info object I am activating these 2 info objects also. So if I select this one, do not activate dependent info object. I should activate that one, but it won't activate. Don't select this one, every time select this one, so that it will be get activated and along with this one also will be in active status. Now click on continue. Every time by default the radio button set to activate dependent info object. Come again. Whatever for this info object, what are all the objects really dependent. Okay. So it's going to display that information. These are dependent, right? It is going to come up with that information. These are the dependent info objects for this info object. That kind of information. This is really for information purpose. Do it in your example. Okay, I think it will open another screen where you can see what are the info objects are really dependent to activate. Thanks for checking. Until now I never clicked on that radio button. Okay. a kind of radio button, really it's an informative radio button. Okay. We know these two are dependent ones. Okay, to activate that one. Again, if you want to see that information, see, but in real time what happens, why they kept this option, the only reason is, info object is smallest element, okay, in BW5. Just like in data warehouse, in a database, your data field is smallest element to hold the single data information. In same way, info object is the smallest element to hold the data in BW5. It might be very much dependent with other objects, as well as it may be used in different places. To know all these dependencies, we have that kind of option. Okay? Now info object is created. Info object is created in the sense, this object is created, okay, within this object, the tables have been created. You can see that information here. See, this is info object, this is in active status, and the table has been created. Now, based on your maintenance, the table will be generated by the system. Okay, based on your attribute maintenance. Now, if I double click on this one, so this is the table generated within the info object. Now, don't concentrate on these two for now. Okay, going forward, I'll discuss about those two. These are technical fields within the table generated by the system itself. For each attribute table, you can see these two as default fields. Along with that, you created info object called EMP21. Okay, that's the reason the underlying table is created by the system with a basic key field called /BIP EMP21. Okay, /BIP _ EMP21 is a field within the database for info object EMP21. మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక ఇన్ఫో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేశారనుకోండి, ప్రతి ఇన్ఫో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఒక ఫీల్డ్ అనేది క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, ఇన్ఫో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఫీల్డ్ అనమాట. ఓకేనా, మీకు టేబుల్లో ఫీల్డ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇన్ సేమ్ వే ఇన్ఫో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఈక్వల్ టు ఫీల్డ్. సో దిస్ ఫీల్డ్ ఈజ్ జనరేటెడ్ బై ది సిస్టమ్. సో whenever you create info object, automatically system generates a field for you. This is a field, and this field is going to act as a key field within the table. So this table is also generated by the system. So simple question, I am discussing about. Okay, so finally we are converting the data into this table only. Now, you maintain or you created CA21 as an info object. Another data field is created, and this data field is part of your table. And see, in this world, if I am saying data is stored in the info queue, in the sense it is storing in underlying tables of info queue only. If I am saying data is storing in info object, what it means? Data is storing in underlying tables of info objects only. In any data warehouse or in any databases, I am storing data physically, in the sense I am storing data in tables only. Table contains data fields, and we are storing the data in tables only. మీకు టేబుల్స్లో తప్పించి ఈ వరల్డ్లో ఎక్కడ డేటా స్టోర్ చేయలేదు. డేటా స్టోర్ ఫిజికల్లీ ఇంటూ ఇన్ఫో క్యూబ్, ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ ఇన్ఫో క్యూబ్ కంటెంట్స్ అగైన్ టేబుల్స్ ఓన్లీ, వీఆర్ స్టోరింగ్ ద డేటా ఇన్ టేబుల్స్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే, మీకు ఏ డేటాబేస్ తీసుకున్నా డేటాబేస్ లో కూడా టేబుల్సే ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, వేరే ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి, వ్యూ అని చెప్పేసి ఉంటుంది. వెదర్ వీ కెన్ స్టోర్ ఫిజికల్లీ డేటా ఇన్ వ్యూ, నెవర్. వీ కెన్ స్టోర్ physically things. In OLTP system side or in ERP system side or in database system side, okay, we can find different tables. Okay, table contains data. When you transfer into the different data warehouse system, there we call it as an object. Object again contains tables only, but we call it as an object searching. So whatever object you name it, the object contains tables, and we are going to store physically again in tables only. We are naming different objects like info queue and ODS and info object. So this is info object, And we are transferring the data from exception to info object, in the sense info object contains tables, we are transferring the data into info object table. Now this is the table, this is your final destination. Now we created 3 info objects and system generated a table for us, and it is having 3 data sets. Okay, finally your employee 01 to 06 stores here, Sridhar to Sridhar and Vikas, and Kamal Vinal, that information stores here, and 21, 32, 33, that information stores here. So this is the table generated by the system. Now come back in some part. Now you can see under info area you have catalog, and under that you can see info object. This is basic info object, and we have other info objects also. Age of employee, name of employee. This is basic characteristic info object. These 2 are going to act as attributes of this info object. What is the major difference between this one and these 2? If you double click on this one, it is not acting as a attribute. If I double click age, it is acting as a attribute object. This is only the difference in between these 2. One is attribute characteristic, another one is basic characteristic. Now, and one basic characteristic info object can be act as attribute of another basic characteristic info object. You got my point, right? Now I created this one as attribute of this one. Otherwise you can create one info object directly, and you can make that info object as an attribute of another info object. That is also possible. Okay, going forward I will discuss those options. Now 3.2 is completed. We have info object and we have table. Then what is the next step? Create now application component. To create application component, go to info sources and go to root node of the info source, right click and create application component. Here we need to come up with technical name and description. Now we have technical name and description, and this is your application component. Now I am performing next step, creation of info source. We are working with flexible. So this is info source and this is EMP 21 info source. Info source for EMP 21. And what kind of data we are uploading? We are uploading ATTR information. Okay. So this is info source for employee ATTR. Technical name, description, and click on continue. Now you can see a folder. Under that you can see object. So this is your info source. I represented here as a dotted line. Now 4.2, assign info source to data source. You need to pick source system information. What is your source system? This is your source system. FS underscore 1030. This is your source system. Select this one and click on continue. Now system is asking info source is this. Can I create data source and assign info source to data source? Click on here. Now system is showcasing entire information starting from here to here. Now info source contains communication structure. So this is contains this one communication structure. I'm expanding communication structure. Communication structure should have info object. What are all the info objects I created? EMP 21 is that information. Name 21 give this information, and B, age 21. Now come down. See your data source and transfer rule. Now data source is empty. Whenever you propose the transfer rule, then data source will come up with data field. Okay? So these data fields are dependent on your info object. See, you have info object like VMP 21, and what is your data field? /VMP /VMP 21. Okay? So these data fields are dependent on info object, and your info source contains info object, and your data source contains data field. Now, transfer rule proposed and you need to activate. Whenever I click on activate button, this time your info source until now you created never activated. Your info source, communication structure, transfer rule, data source, transfer structure, and your PSK table, all these will be generated within the system whenever you click on activate button. Now, this activation not only activating transfer rule, in turn it is activating your communication structure, your info source, transfer rule, data source, and transfer structure. And the transfer method is set to PSK. Whenever you set transfer method to PSK, this table will be generated. Okay? So, it is set to PSK, but where it is transferred, is going to use a PSK table as a pattern. Okay, I am going to discuss that part later. Now, data source to input. Yeah, you have Excel sheet, right? Excel sheet is having three things. Correct. So, this data source belongs to source system, and whenever you assign the data source, you are taking that file system information. Correct? So, first EMP01, whenever it's transferred into the BW side, first it flows through this particular field. That's what I mentioned here. Employee 01, it flows through. Okay. The way we are creating, the reason is, in platform extraction, we do approach top to bottom. Okay? The reason is, directly we cannot create data sources. We can create info sources, and data sources are typically dependent on info sources. Whatever way we create info source, and whenever we assign info source to data source, that time based on the info source template, the data sources will be created by the system. Okay? So, in 3.x, data sources, in 3.x we cannot create data sources directly. These data sources are dependent on info sources. Okay, we do create info sources, and system is going to make use of info source as a template, and it will define data source. Okay. Now, see, until this point, you have data flow diagram ready. Now, next step is to step. What we need to do? We need to select our info area, and we need to right click, and we need to insert characteristic as data target. Your info object never act as a data container until unless you perform this step. If you don't perform this step, it is going to act as a data field object. Now, if you want to hold bunch of information in the info object, then you need to explicitly tell to the system like data target. I would like to see as info object. I would like to see as a data target. Okay. Now I need to perform this step. Until now, info object is a field only. Now it is becoming a container. Employee 21. Now it is become a data target. You have data target. Here you can see this step. Fifth step. Now it is acting as a data target. Now you have data target ready. Now sixth step, right click and create update room. Right click the data target and create update room. Update rooms are connecting info source and data target. You have data target is nothing but info object. You have info object and you need to give info source. What is your info source name? Correct? Enter. What is your info source name? Don't know. Then go back. Then go to fashion RS7. Go to info source. EMP20_ATTR. Then this is your update group. Activate extensively. Okay, I am going to discuss about what is update group, how data is going to update, and what is transfer structure, what is transfer room, types of transfer rooms, everything I will cover in coming up classes. Now, what you need to see, you need to see only the navigation steps. Okay, while navigating, if you have any doubts, please let me know. I am going to explain. And in between, if you are asking something, and if I am going to use that information in coming up classes, then I won't explain now. Okay, I will explain in coming up classes. Now we have entire data flow diagram ready, and if you want to see data flow diagram, this is your seventh step. Show data flow diagram. Info object, update rules, info source, transfer rules. This is PSA, and you can see PSA here. This is data source, and source system. Okay, this is your file system. You have entire data flow diagram ready. Close this one. Then you need to transfer the data, correct? So right click the file system, create info package. This is your 8th step. Give description first, info package, and give external data, information, name of the file. You kept your file in 1030 folder and open this ATTR, ESC, comma, number of headers to be ignored one. You can see the preview also. Without loading the data, you can see the preview also. Okay, you have 6 records, right? So give 6 here and click on continue. And this is the data you are uploading. You are not uploading, you are seeing only simulation. And see, this is the information in your Excel sheet, correct? And whenever you start data load, first it transfers through transfer structure. So in transfer structure, at one time you are going to see this information. So this is employee ID, and then name, then age. This is information in transfer structure at runtime. After transfer rules, you can see information where. After transfer rules, you can see information where communication structure. So go to communication structure. Same information flowing through communication structure. After communication structure, data target. That is nothing but info object. Info object is having other 2 technical fields, right? Now other 2 technical fields are coming up as empty and employee ID, name of the employee, age of the employee. This is information in the info object. Now simulation is working fine. Close this one and close this one. Go to schedule, click on start. Now your IT is interacting with the source system and it is picking up 6 records from the source system and it is storing the information in intermediate level called PSA. PSA is again a table. it transfers the data from Excel sheet and stores the data in a table called CSA. Then again it transfers the data through transfer rule, communication structure and update rule. Finally updates the data into info object attribute table. Now you can see all this information in monitor. In monitor, how many records we transferred? 6 records we transferred. And in monitor we have 3 tabs: header tab, status tab and detail tab. So you are creating IP and you are requesting the data from Excel sheet, correct? Into the BW file. So whenever you request the data from BW to source system, it might be any system, then whenever you click on start, you are requesting the data from the source system. Then BW system generates one unique ID called request ID. If you click 10 times on start button, then you are requesting 10 times from the source system, correct? 10 times BW system will generate 10 request ID. You ఎన్నిసార్లు రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తే అన్ని రిక్వెస్ట్ ఐడి జనరేట్ అవుతాయి. దిస్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఐడి. Yeah, if you click 10 times, it will generate 10 request IDs. Yes. Upload happens 10 times, okay, and 10 request IDs will be generated. Now, this has happened one time, so one request ID is generated, okay, and this is ending up with JQC, correct? If I run one more time, okay, I am requesting data one more time from source to target. Then this is another request ending up with N14. This is one request. This is for identification purpose. Okay, each request ID, each request data can be identified by request ID. Fine. And this is start time. Extraction date and time. It took 12 seconds to complete upload. Second time, it took only 3 seconds to complete upload. Same number of records. And you use application component. This is your fourth step. And this is info source. This is your 4.1. This is your transfer rule. You are using file system FS_1030. And this is the info package name. File path. You are keeping your flat file in 10:30 AM start time, and that is your file name. And selections none. Selections none in the sense, how many records you have in Excel sheet? 6. Did you use any selective extraction? No. We retrieve all information. That's the reason selections are none. If you selectively extracted EMP01 and 02, then you can see selections are EMP01 and 02. So, if you have 100 records, you can selectively extract only 50 records also. Whenever you apply those selections, then you can see the selection criteria here. You executed this load using SAP user ID, correct? You logged into the system and SAP user executed this load. And there is an update loop in between info source and data target. This is info source and this is data target. And data target is VMP21. And processing. Processing, first data transferred into the PSA, then data target, transfers into the data target in series. Okay, we have different processing types. And full upload. Full upload in the sense, we have 6 records, all 6 records are transferred. That is nothing but full upload. And these are technical terms I am going to discuss later on. Then in status card, you can see like data successfully completed. And here it says if you data is ended up with any error, data upload, then you can see error information also here. Now this is very important one. See, until now we know data is transferring, okay, and we are monitoring the data though using this monitoring option. Now this is a detailed information about the data transfer. First, whenever you trigger IP, okay, then IP is useful to trigger the information or transfer the information from source system to BW system. IP is going to act as a scheduler. So IP can interact with the source system. That's the reason every time you do create IPs by right-clicking the source system. Okay. So IP will know about the source system information and it can retrieve the data from source system. So whenever you request the data using IP, the data request is arranged. That is nothing but your request ID and confirm OK. Then confirm OK with the source system. Then from source system, this record sent to BW system and your data selection is ended. Once all records are selected, then data selection is completed. Okay. Data transfer 6 records now arrived into the BW state. So first 3 steps, using these 3 steps, IP is generated one request ID that is confirmed by the source system. So the communication has been archived, and because of the request ID, 6 records are sent to the BW side. Okay. Now 6 records combined into one data packet, and that data packet is sent to the BW side. Because of that data packet, 6 records are transferred into the BW side. Now
Data is from here to here because of the 3 steps.
then processing. One data packet with 6 records, first it is updated into the CSA table. Okay. Then transfer rule. All 6 records are transferred to transfer rule. Then update rule. Once data has been updated, then you can see give me 1 second. Let's see data within this info object. It is showcasing like 0 from 0. That's the reason I am trying to see the information. Fine. It's finally updated, but in 3.8 it's not giving fine level of detail. But if you perform in 7.8, it will showcase information like in detail tab itself. The data is updated and inserted into this table. Okay, inserted into the table called T. Anyhow, I am going to show that information again. So, new data and change the data, that information I will discuss later. Okay, and we can have information like change the data. You can change the data, and we can see the override functionalities in the info object and other functionalities for ODS. That information I will discuss later. See, finally, 6 records are updated from info source to yeah. Which one? Yes? First drop down. Oh, this one. So, transfer. So, basically TRFC means transactional RFC and IDOC means intermediate document. Although you use CSA, data will transfer using IDOC only. In SAP system, data transfer using IDOC only. But you have seen the transfer method as CSA, right? Although you selected CSA, data transfer using IDOC only. but the space allocated for the IDOC is going to be different. The pipe transfer rate is going to be different. But the only difference is if you select PSA, the PSA table will be generated within the BW system. If you don't select PSA, then PSA table won't be generated. IDOC, then there won't be any PSA table generated. So the data flow diagram looks something like this. There won't be any. Okay. The data transfer is IDOC. Now IDOC contains data packet. Using data packet only data transfer. Now, come back. Data has been transferred and finally fitting in info object. Within the info object, you have P table, and if you go and see P table content, you can see information. Okay, you can see information in info object P table. If you requested, it is going to sit in one table only, but it is having override functionality. That's the reason. Here recorded, figures which are overwritten by second request. Will be there, but no. It will override and latest information only you can see here. Because of the second request, whatever you have. Second request is latest request, right? That information only you can see in the table. So latest information, say like you change data, then the latest data you can see in the info object level. It's known as override functionality. An info object having override functionality at update mode. Whenever you update the information, it is going to update the latest information and it will override old information with new information. There also if you see, it will showcase the latest one. Now this is your attribute example.